You're here because you want to learn how to break the cycle. Many of us, both men and women, have been sucked into this fatalistic mentality of imperfection equating unworthiness. It begins in our childhood, then adolescence, and from there it creeps into our transitions to adulthood, making simple navigations feel impossible. That is, until a simple online search leads us to that four-letter word that flips the script: diet. Diet culture preys on your vulnerabilities and insecurities. It teaches you how to be pretty, how to be confident, how to become desirable, while also changing the meaning of those words to where pretty now only means thin, confident now only means hungry, and desirability now comes at the expense of your sanity. But still, you're sucked in and you take hold of those words typed on your screen because they're the closest thing to the life you've always wanted, the life you think you've wanted. Days go by and you're proud of your changes. Weeks go by and you start hearing praises. Months go by and the sacrifices are easy because how can I feel the chills on my body when the number on the scale is looking back at me? Until one day, your body fights back. Those internet searches won't warn you about the lasting effects of dieting, starving, binging, and purging. Those searches don't come with instructions on how to prevent self-hate after you lose the weight. They won't disclose how much you'll miss spending time with family and friends. They fail to mention how good you'll get at lying to strangers, to doctors, to friends, to teachers, to family, and to yourself. Here's how I fought back. I lost 40 pounds in a matter of months by eating under 600 calories a day and working out twice a day. I lost a concerning amount of muscle mass. I was freezing cold at all times. A simple breeze caused by opening a door would send chills down my spine. I became insecure and only wore baggy clothes. My thinness was never thin enough. I stayed home, refusing to participate in friend or family gatherings, and one day my body just revolted. I went to the store and I purchased a single sleeve of Oreos, and I consumed it in its entirety within minutes. I went to my college's cafeteria and I ate 3 plates filled with lo mein. As soon as I finished, I went to my dorm and I sobbed. I called my mom to tell her what I'd done. Prior to this event, my weight loss concerned her. She knew I was starving myself and continually urged me to eat. At this point, I looked sickly, and she was willing to do anything to help me. When I told her what had happened, she said, "This is what your body needs. Do not worry." Over the course of the next few years, I gained all of the weight back and more. I was eating between 3,000 to 7,000 calories a day with inconsistent exercise and an insatiable appetite. Sometimes I would try dieting again, and it would work, only to revert back to binging and gaining even more, though. I put my body through trauma. I struggled with my weight from ages 17 to 22. A few years ago, I released a weight loss video on YouTube detailing how I lost 25 pounds in 1 month. It worked, and the weight naturally stayed off. However, I'm no longer interested in conforming to societal pressures of thin, straight-sized beauty. I'm currently a 24-year-old graduate student, and I have the best job in the world. I'm a teacher, an early childhood educator, and through teaching, it's given me such a greater sense of purpose to instill confidence and pride in my students. And how can I instill those qualities in them if I don't even see them in myself? Life is more than just Instagram models and waking up at 4 a.m. to be quote-unquote that girl. You're already that girl. In the way you follow your dreams, the way you choose to be unconventional, the way you listen to and honor your body and its cues. I started this journey by allowing myself to eat whatever I want, whenever I want, with absolutely zero restrictions. And I know this may sound scary, frightening, and daunting to some of you, but you will experience a sense of liberation that no one can take away from you. Soon after you begin doing this, you'll learn to hear your body when it talks to you. The eagerness to eat anything and everything all at once will just subside because you know that you have the freedom of choice and it's not going anywhere. There's no rush to binge today, starve tomorrow. You'll simply eat what makes your body feel satisfied, whether that's half a box of pizza, a veggie bowl, or a bowl of cereal. There will be fluidity, and when you reach that point, your body will support you. I still work out, but I don't do it out of obligation and requirement. I do it because I enjoy getting stronger. It's empowering. And because dancing lifts my spirits, and because stretching makes me feel centered. To live in a world where our differences will be celebrated is a wish I believe will come true. Here are 5 tips I've gathered from personal experience during this journey. I would say, first, keep this entire journey to yourself. It's personal, and I've always found it more difficult to achieve anything when you have the opinions of friends and family involved, especially around this time of the year when everyone is seeking to achieve their summer body, which, P.S., you already have one. It's just your body. 2, I would say to keep a journal. Detail your sentiments towards the foods you're eating and track whatever feels meaningful. 3, listen to podcasts by non-diet dietitians and food therapists. They're out there. A few I listen to are the How to Love Your Body podcast and the Body Love podcast. Listening to accounts told by anyone who's gone through this will give you such a great sense of comfort. 4, this one can be done early on. It actually can be done in the first step, but I would heavily suggest, to stay away from triggering material, whether that's on Instagram or TikTok or even Pinterest. I deleted my Instagram account almost 2 years ago. If you don't want to delete yours, I understand. You still want to keep in contact with friends and family, that's fine, but just consider altering your algorithm. So instead of searching for what's triggering, try to filter that out by searching for positive pages with affirmations and with positive messages, as well as pages that have to do with intuitive eating and food freedom. 5, I would heavily suggest to throw away your scale and the measuring tape. And also delete the clothes I'll wear when I'm thin Pinterest board, if you have one. Those are just 5 tips, but I'm sure you can even think of more yourself. I also wanted to mention that I chose not to disclose exactly how much I weigh because I don't want to trigger anyone who's just starting out to be so focused on numbers. I'm pretty sure this is going to happen to everyone, but this is kind of what happened for me. I got myself to a very unusual weight for my body type. Considering my genetics, people in my family, I looked really sick at a certain number that may seem normal to some. So when I gained the weight back, I went over what was typical for me, and then as I naturally lost it, I went back to where I was in high school. And I know there was a time probably for you guys in high school too, where you weren't thinking about food, you were just playing sports, you were eating what you wanted, and you were fine. That's pretty much exactly where I'm at right now. And it feels great. I mean, of course, you're older now, you're not 17, you're not 16, but your body's going to take you back to a place where it felt most comfortable. And maybe you'll be bigger than you were then, maybe you'll be a little smaller. That's fine. The point is to not care about how you look, to just have your body be the least interesting thing about you. That is the goal. If you guys have any questions, feel free to send me an email. As I mentioned, I don't have an Instagram account, but I do have an email address on here on YouTube. So if you need any assistance, feel free to reach out to me. I'm not a licensed dietitian or food therapist. I do have a bachelor's in psychology, so I know a little bit about this, but I'm not licensed to give anyone clinical assistance with this. But if you just have questions on getting started, feel free to reach out to me, and know that you will make mistakes on the journey. You're just beginning, and that's what life's all about. There have been times where I reverted, as I mentioned, but overall I knew what the greater purpose was, and I was able to push through it. So I know you guys will as well. All right.